We're going to start with social media. Twitter's first quarter revenue was up 20% compared to a year ago. The stock is having a monster day. Shares of Twitter are up 16%. Was it that good?
It was a good report. It's interesting the way they started out their announcement, which was to talk about how effective they are at getting the wrong people or the wrong bots off of their service. I mean, you don't normally see the initial quote from the CEO being about we're reducing the bad part of the business, but that is a big part of the questions that would be hanging out about them. So before even really getting into the numbers, the narrative was the first thing that management focused on. And, the market seems to be liking that. I think that's part of it.
It's an interesting point because you're right. This is one of those businesses that for the longest time that it's been a public company, we have focused on growth. We've focused on what are their monthly active users, et cetera, that sort of thing. But as you said, the narrative around, and it's not just Twitter, but I would argue social media in general, certainly Facebook being the classic case. Part of the narrative for them is, okay, look, they've got some bad actors on there. If they can clean up this platform and sort of get rid of the bad actors, then it's going to be a more valuable business and therefore one worth owning.
Yeah, and I think that it has for a long time been a business that people have expected. They've got many of the attributes that you would want, and they haven't been monetizing them as well as the competition. But they have something in their arsenal which is extremely effective, which is a product which is addictive. And if you only were to invest in addictive products over the course of your lifetime, you would do very well.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, whether it's tobacco, for whatever you think about tobacco, and probably you should think the very worst things about it. I apologize to all the smokers out there. But it's an addictive product, and no matter how much we as a society try to educate ourselves about the downside of that product, it remains extremely good investment. And, we've got some addictive products in front of us right now.
Well, yes.
But much better than tobacco.
Right. It's coffee, and it's both addictive and incredibly healthy and incredibly good for you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Unlike arguably social media.
But that's one of the reasons why it is so great. It's not just that coffee is great for you, but that your body craves, unlike many other things which are great for you. I've heard this claimed about vegetables, but they are not addictive.
Not really.
That somebody needs to work on that. Getting a little bit of addictive, substance into vegetables.
All kidding aside, the idea of
just— You think I'm kidding?
No, I don't think you're kidding, but I think you're being a little frivolous, which is fine because
this is a new business. Happens. Somebody's going to work on this.
Well, I was just going to say it would be interesting to come up with a list of like forget stock performance. Let's just come up with a list of things that are addictive, and then back check against the stock performance. And it's like, oh yeah, that's actually, social media can be addictive. Tobacco is addictive. So is coffee.
Right. And social media, Facebook and Twitter and some other things that work on magnifying the addictive properties of their product. And this is beginning to attract attention and backlash. And Twitter, understandably, is starting its quarter by saying, like, we're working on the bad side. They're not addressing the addiction problem, but which I guess they probably don't see as a problem. But the downside of the users of the platform harming other users. At the same time, I don't think that they're pulling back on the notifications and the things that addict one to social media.
No, I don't think they are. But I also think in the case of Twitter, it makes inherently good business sense to get rid of, as you said, the opening statement from Jack Dorsey, to get rid of the bad actors because they're in the business of advertising. And the more comfort that advertisers feel spending money on your platform, then the more likely they are to come back and spend more money in the future. So it's a very smart move by them.
Yeah, and to go to the actual numbers, which we haven't gotten to yet, it basically business was up about 11% year over year, and showed that's at the top line, that's at the users, and then really they did much better than that when you get down to the bottom line in terms of the actual profits, which were ahead well beyond that.